Zacks Rank Buys, stocks with a short-term buy or strong buy recommendation. Now, here are more Zacks Rank Buys. Helping you find some value in stocks now is what we're going to do with Tracy Reinick. Tracy's our value stock editor at Zacks.com, and she always comes down here armed with some decent value picks, and today is no exception. Harris Corporation, HRS, the ticker symbol, is one that you're going to tell us about, and they're in the, information technology arena.
They are communications. They build the communication systems that go a lot. You would know them from like military defense systems. A lot of the U.S. allies are upgrading their communication systems, and they're using Harris's products to do it. So right now they're doing pretty well because a lot of that kind of infrastructure is being upgraded worldwide. Mm-hmm. They just had first quarter 2009 revenue that was 11% higher than a year ago, so that's positive. All four of their segments were higher, so that's also positive. So they're seeing, pretty decent sales right now. Of course, that was for third quarter, first quarter 2009, which ended at end of September. Mm-hmm. But they did confirm guidance. They said that earnings are going to be between $4.05 and $4.15 for 2009. Okay. So that's pretty bullish going into it. They also, analysts are kind of right on the middle there. The analysts haven't upgraded since they've reconfirmed. Oh, no, they have. But they also see 2010 also quite a bit higher at $4.55. That's been holding the last 60 days as well. Okay. So these are positive things given the environment right now. Sure. They announced earnings on January 28th for the second quarter, so we won't really know for sure what's happening until then. But given their business and, the kind of clients that they have, which is a lot of governments, and they do have some commercial clients as well, but that area is strong right now, the whole kind of communications infrastructure area.
As rampant as government spending is, it would be hard to believe that a company like this that services governments would be doing poorly.
Right. So that's why it's a decent value pick right now. They're trading a little bit under 10 times forward earnings, which is, pretty cheap. That's a pretty good valuation for a company like this. Their chart is interesting, but it's what we've seen with a lot of the other companies. They hit a bottom around November 20th, which was the bottom for the overall market, and then they bounced off of that. But, overall, they're still down quite a bit from what they were in 2008. And like I said, they're trading at a decent valuation here.
Okay. They've got four, that's what I found interesting about them. They have four business segments to this company, and broadcast communications is one of them. Right. And if my memory serves me correctly, they make a lot of the hardware used in broadcast television control rooms. Okay. Some of which I thought was getting outdated, though, as digital comes in. So maybe they've adapted.
Well, they might have, and then everyone else has to adapt and buy new equipment and things like that. So I know that their broadcast segment did well last quarter, so I think they're seeing a decent sales in that area.
All right. And then Mastech Incorporated is another value pick of yours.
Yes.
Ticker symbol is MTZ.
MTZ.
Is that correct?
Yes.
They're also building infrastructure for a variety of companies.
They are. It's a little bit different, although they are kind of in the communications sector too, but in a different way. They do the fiber optic lines. They have a lot of clients that are like Verizon, and actually they're in a whole bunch of different kind of infrastructure areas. I want to say like the fiber optic areas and communications systems networks. Mm-hmm. But they also do a lot with natural gas processing. Oh, wow. Yeah, and they just acquired a construction company, Wasnik Construction, that will give them a lot of areas into the alternative energy because they build wind farms and bridges, roads, like the heavy industrial projects. So they're kind of all-encompassing of the infrastructure play, which is very interesting right now given what is coming out of Washington, D.C. and where they might want to spend the future stimulus on.
So does that make them a diversified company?
More so than if they just did the communications, if they were just doing the fiber optics and things like that. This recent acquisition of Wasnik was quite enormous. It was about, Wasnik had about $400 million in revenue last year, and it's going to push up their 2009 revenues by about 45 to 51% is what the company estimates. So that was pretty massive, and it's going to give them this big way to get into the alternative energy area and some areas that they weren't quite as big in. So yes, it's going to diversify them quite a bit, which is a positive thing. The company is trading fairly decent valuations. It's about 10 times earnings right now. It's a Zacks number 2. It did drop down from a Zacks number 1 when I talked about it last week. But they just updated their guidance since they closed on the Wasnik construction deal, and they're projecting $1.05 to $1.15 for 2009. So, like I said, that was about 45 to 51% over 2008 revenues, and analysts see growth of about 17% for 2009.
They've got long-term agreements with a lot of popular companies, DirecTV, Verizon, AT&T, among them.
They do. So they're pretty diverse. Like I said, going forward, they're going to have both the communication side, but they're also going to have this larger alternative energy, bridges, roads area. So I like that combination going forward into 2009. Mm-hmm. The market seems to like it too. That's really bounced off of its lows. Again, also on November 20th to 21st was their low, and they've almost doubled since then. But they're trading at a decent valuation, like I said, a little over 10 times earnings. So they're not super expensive given the growth rate that's coming down the pike in 2009. And they announced fourth quarter estimates on February 25th. So we're going to have to wait a little bit to see how it all shakes out. But they did just give their guidance on December 17th. So that's pretty recent. They must know what's going on in the last 2 weeks, I would think. Yeah. So that's a positive sign. And given the market conditions, it's really nice to see a company that sees this kind of growth going into 2009.
Do you or does anyone in your house own either of these two stocks?
I do not.
All right. To check out more in writing on these two companies and some other value stocks that Tracy has written about in the recent past, all you need to do is go to Zacks.com and look over to the Zacks Rank Buy section in the upper right-hand corner of our homepage and click on the most current headline next to the value listing. It will take you right to one of these two stories as well as an archive of some others that Tracy has put together for you. With Tracy Reinick, I'm Terry Ruffalo.